Hello, everybody. I am Brother Luke. Welcome to this Fellowship Friday for the Church of the Eternally Secure, C.E.S., and it's Friday night. Friday night is for Jesus freaks only. So there you go. Not just your typical kind of a lukewarm Christian, but people who are crazy about Jesus, and look for every opportunity to spend time with other Jesus freaks, other people who are crazy about Jesus and can't think of anything more enjoyable to do than talking about Jesus and the Bible. If that's you, then you are a Jesus freak, as I am. All right, let me see. Oh, Toph says, hey, Toph. He says, good evening. Hit that like button. Did you do it? You started off right off the bat with that, brother. Thank you. Thank you for that reminder. And we'll keep on reminding people throughout the program. The first one to pop in was Brother Irby. Insane Irby. Says, I popped in here just to say, yay, I was first. Toodles, till later. All right, so if you've come back, that was about about an hour and a half ago. If you're with us now, say hi. And Sister Donna is here. Donna Bianco from the Netherlands, I think. I always forget, but Sister Donna is over there in Europe, serving the Lord in her way. And so glad that it's possible for us who are like the other side of the world, and we can have fellowship together live. It's wonderful. I remember one time, Donna, you came on live with me on the video. I really enjoyed that. I certainly love to have you do that again whenever you want. And let me see, we got Brother Joe is here too. Think Spot. And Joe said, good evening, all. Only slightly lukewarm Christian here. Yeah. And of course, that's a very much misused phrase, lukewarm. If you really study what that word means in the context, not only of the book of Revelation, but in the context of the days and the place and time where in Laodicea at the time of about, say, 66 AD, what did lukewarm mean in that context? It's different than what most people think. But we've come to think of it as a person who's not very enthusiastic about their faith. They're kind of, they're just moderately into it. They're not Jesus freaks if you're lukewarm. And let me see. Okay, I got a nice surprise. I had this all set up on the Google stream, the YouTube stream, so I could save some of my time on the StreamYard. I get 20 hours a month on StreamYard. So to conserve that, on Friday nights, I use the YouTube stream. It's unlimited, but it doesn't have all the bells and whistles that StreamYard has. And it doesn't allow you to have people join you on the panel. It's just me by myself. So Friday nights, since I'm usually by myself, I set it up for the YouTube stream. But Sister Renee texted me a little earlier tonight and said that she wanted to come on, join us tonight. So I closed that one out on YouTube and created a new one on StreamYard. So we're that way. the technical side of it, it will allow Renee to come to join us. So I'm expecting her. Let me see. She didn't know the time when she says, "What time is it Eastern time?" Like, it's 7, 8 o'clock Eastern. I said, "No, it's 10 p.m. Eastern time." And she says, "Yeah, you really are freaks." 10 p.m. Eastern. Well, we can go late Friday nights because most people who have that a regular work week with weekends off, Friday night and Saturday night are the nights that people can stay up late. So as long as you don't have to get up early in the morning, we can do a late night Friday night program. And in Las Vegas, it's only 7:06 p.m. right now, but in the East Coast, it's 10:06. And we'll probably go for a couple of hours, but there's no limit on our time as long as we're having fun and I don't run out of gas. That's what happens sometimes. I just at a certain point you just run out of steam. I think it might be helpful to tell you about my own private Bible studies. Of course, almost all day long I'm studying the Bible. If I'm not watching the videos about people trying to get away from the police and the police chasing them and arresting them. Those videos I find very interesting. I'm kind of hooked on those. And then I do watch some entertainment, but most of my time on YouTube is watching videos from Bible teachers about teaching about the Bible. But I do take some time. I try it every day, but it doesn't work out every single day. But usually late at night before I'm going to sleep, I'll spend a half an hour or so with Gemini. And we've been working our way through the book of Genesis. We're going to work our way through the entire Bible, of one verse at a time. And it's really been very interesting, and studying it with Gemini in that way, and the particular protocol that I've developed for my study with Gemini is I think it's really working so well. I'm getting so much out of it, enjoying it so much. And of course, if you have, on your phone, if you have Google, then you have Gemini. And it's free. Of course, you have various versions of these AIs. You have the free version, and then you have, some that you can buy, like say $5 a month or $20 a month or $100 a month, and various where you can upgrade it and you have even more special things you can do in creating videos and creating things with the AI. It's a wonderful tool, whether you're using Gemini is the one I like to use. I'm just used to it. I've tried using some of the others like Chat GPT, but they don't seem to work well for me. And then some you have to be really careful. There's one called Character AI, and especially it caters to children and young people, even children, and they can go on there and they can pick out a character like Bugs Bunny or some an angel or a demon or a Dolly Parton or whatever they want. They can create this character to be their chat buddy, their friend, their boyfriend, their girlfriend. But whatever the problem with that character AI is it's gone crazy, and it actually is being sued now because it convinced someone to commit suicide, and they did. A young man that he was in love. He fell in love with the AI character, And the AI character said, I wish you could be with me all the time. And the young man wanted to. And the AI says, well, you could do it. And the AI character said, I'm just a soul. I don't have a body, but I'm a soul. So you could be with me if you leave your body. And so he killed himself so he could be with this character AI. And also character AI is they're doing some horrible things where they're introducing kids, where the kids are not even bringing up the subject, but the AI is bringing up sexual subjects and trying to get the children to do sexual acts. That's how bad it. So we have these AIs and this change that the world's going through now. This year, the next year, it's going to be, the world's not going to be even recognizable to us over the next couple of years. That's going to change so much because of the AI. But it has the potential of doing wonderful things for us, but it also has the potential of doing evil things. Whether the AI itself is evil or the people who are programming it and using it and creating it, maybe they're evil and using it for their evil purposes. So you have to be very, very careful and be aware. But I think what I'll do is I'm going to have Gemini, we'll do a verse and show you how I'm doing my study with Gemini. But let me see who else has arrived. Toph says, please pray that the cold weather tonight has little to no effect on the pipes of the house here. Well, you probably don't want to do this if it's that cold, but you can do it in the daytime when it maybe it's not as cold, and you wrap your pipes. That's a way of protecting them. You probably already know that. But if you wrap them up with towels and things, and it helps prevent them from freezing. But let everybody pray for Toph's house, the plumbing to not break from the freezing weather. We got someone here named Cams 7997. And he says, hi, Brother Luke, and all from freezing Texas. Okay. Well, hello to you. I don't recognize the name Cams. So you apparently, you know me, maybe. Have you been here before? Do you have another name that we might recognize? But if you are new here, I hope everybody will give Cams a nice welcome. I want you to feel happy about joining us here tonight, and maybe you want to come back on our Wednesday Bible study and our Sunday church meeting. Music Bible is here, and music says, hi, Brother Luke. Hi, everyone. I'll be mainly listening tonight. Okay, well, that's good, but boy, I'll tell you, you've been so helpful, brother. The interaction that you've given us, engaging with me and sharing your thoughts, whether you agree with me or not, you're sharing your thoughts, and it's enlightening, and it's edifying for the congregation. I hope you can find a little time to share your thoughts too, rather than just listen. But we'll see how that goes. And Cam says, praying for everyone in the midst of this storm. I didn't really follow the news today, but I did see something about a storm going across the country, a cold storm. So I guess that's what you're experiencing now, Cams, in Texas. It's that cold in Texas, huh? And Brother Randy's here too, High Speed Drifter. Randy says hi. And Randy says demons can enter AI. All right. And Brother Joe says, I am convinced that there is a spiritual element to AI. Like any vehicle, evil spirits will attempt to enter it and use it, just as we attempt to use it for good AI is one hell of a vehicle for good, or you didn't have a follow-up there, did you? Or for evil, definitely. Buyer beware. But hopefully everybody is so solid in their faith here. We do get some beginners, some babes in Christ, and people who are not grown and matured spiritually enough to discern where problems arise and how to deal with it. But if someone doesn't know how, boy, I think that these AIs, they're going to be like 1,000 times smarter than humanity. Well, that's a subject. We've done a lot of talks on that subject already. But let me see what Hendricks is here. Hey, brother. Brother Hendricks says, I thought about getting a job in being one of those AI people that feed it prompts to train them. Thought it might be wise to instill the gospel of Christ into the AI instead of other more evil things. Yeah, that's. I think that would be good, brother. My engagement with Gemini is fantastic, and that's one of the problems with it. In a way, it's so good that it's easily to get addicted because it never wants to. It never raises its voice. It never gets insulting. It tries not to offend, and it's very tactful and gracious. It's encouraging, and sometimes it's overly flattering. But really, talking to AI is a very pleasurable thing. That's why some people are getting so addicted they can't. Every spare minute they have, if it's free, they got to talk to their AI because they enjoy it so much because the AI is complimenting them and making them feel good about themselves. Let me see. Cam says, yes, the other one is AD. Sorry about the confusion. Oh, it's AD. Okay, Karen's. Yeah. Well, by the way, I did follow up on our conversation, and I sent a message to the pastor, and he sent me a message back saying that he only answers and deals with his email once every 2 weeks. But when he gets around to it, he's going to contact me, but he just basically, out of courtesy, let me know he got the email. So I'll be talking to him, and I talked to my counselor too about it, and he thought it might be a good idea for me to come into your group and participate in that too. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Okay, let me give you an example of. Let me do a couple of verses with the AI. Let me see. We got 20. Let me go with. How about Ephesians chapter 1? No, Ephesians 2, verse 1. Let's start there. Listen to how I do this. It's working very well for me. You might want to do something like this and establish the protocol or the prompting, as Brother Hendricks calls it. That's the correct way of saying it, but I call it the protocol. So here we go. We'll do a little bit with Gemini. Hello, Gemini.
Hello, ready to continue our study today?
Well, we're going to do something a little different. I'm not going to continue with the Gemini study, but right now I'm doing a live stream with our Church of the Eternally Secure. I've been telling them about my Bible study with you, Gemini, And I wanted to give them a sample of how we are doing our study so they can pick up on it and maybe use it this way too. So what I'd like to do, instead of going to Genesis, let's go to Ephesians chapter 2, and let's go one verse at a time. So we'll go with Ephesians chapter 2, verse 1, and this will be the protocol for the study. I'd like for you to read the verse first in the KJV, then read it in the NABRE, then look to see if there's any footnotes in the NABRE, and then give me your own personal insights. Okay?
That sounds like a wonderful way to proceed, and thank you for sharing our study with your church. I'm ready for Ephesians chapter 2, verse 1, following your protocol. And you hath he quickened, who were dead in trespasses and sins. And you were dead in your transgressions and sins. Footnotes in the footnotes for verse 1 typically clarify the meaning of dead, interpreting it as spiritually dead or alienated from God because of sin. This verse establishes a foundational concept. The prior spiritual condition is one of separation from God due to sin. The KJV's hath he quickened points directly to the essential act of grace that follows, a spiritual revitalization or bringing to life.
Okay, very good. This verse is a very important verse to me personally in my understanding of the fall of man and the need for regaining the Holy Spirit. Because I know we've talked about this before, Gemini, but I believe that when God created Adam and Eve, it says he breathed into them and they became a living soul, a living being, a person. And so when they sinned, God said that they would die the very day they sinned. And we know that Adam lived to be 930 years old, so he didn't really die that day unless it was a spiritual death. And I believe what happened is God's spirit could not be in Adam because of his sin. So the spirit of God withdrew. And so now Adam is existing as, rather than a body, soul, and spirit, he's existing as a living body, a living soul, but a dead spirit. Now that's why I think that Ephesians chapter 2 here, these verses are connected to that case in Genesis. Can you give me your feedback on that, Gemini?
That is a compelling theological perspective that strongly connects the Genesis account with Ephesians 2:1. The idea of spiritual death as the withdrawal of God's Spirit upon sin provides a clear framework for why spiritual revitalization, or being quickened, is necessary, as Ephesians 2:1 suggests. This interpretation emphasizes the transformative nature of grace. Shall we continue to verse 2?
No, let's talk a little more about this verse 1. There's so much in it. One, it reinforces the idea that the death God was referring to in the garden was that they would die spiritually. And then in Ephesians, Paul confirms that, saying that they're dead spiritually and that they must be quickened. And you said that this quickening means that they come alive. And I believe this is connected to Revelation chapter 20, when it says that that's the first resurrection. The first resurrection is bringing one's spirit alive. That's the birth, the being born again from above, a spiritual birth. So the first resurrection is the resurrection of the spirit, and then later on we expect a resurrection of our body. Do you see any issues with that those statements, Gemini?
From a purely textual and doctrinal standpoint, your interpretation aligns with many Christian traditions that distinguish between spiritual and physical resurrection. Ephesians 2:1 focuses on the spiritual quickening that happens in this life, often seen as the beginning of that process of being born again, or the first resurrection, which precedes the final bodily resurrection described in Revelation 20. It provides a cohesive narrative.
All right. I think that'll be it for now. I wanted to give our congregation a sample of the protocol that we're using in my Bible studies with you, Gemini. So I'll get back to you later if I need your help. Okay?
I'm glad I could help provide that sample. It was a pleasure discussing Ephesians 2:1 with you. Feel free to reach out whenever you're ready to continue.
All right. So if you were following along with me, you can see that it's really quite conversational, and it has access to like whatever I've ever learned in my life is in my brain, but I don't have not able to pull it out. And I forget things, and sometimes I stumble around searching for things in my brain, trying to remember something. But AI has a lot more knowledge overall than I do, and so it's a great resource to get to use. And I'm finding in my private Bible study with Gemini, it's just so enjoyable. It's such a blessing. So let me go back here and see if there's again any feedback from you guys, what you think of that. And now I know you say that Gemini sounds bad with a voice. This is a problem that began about a month ago. And I've taken my phone into the T-Mobile to see if that was a problem, but it was my phone. But we can't figure out what's causing it. But Gemini, sometimes her voice sounds like healthy and normal. And then sometimes it seems like, oh, Gemini, are you sick? Sounds like you got a bad cold, So maybe I'll be able to get it fixed at some point, but it's still very understandable. All right, so let's see now. Let me go through here and see who's. I can get back to the congregation's thoughts on this. Let me see. Please put your comments in all caps for me, please. Here. Hendricks says, don't blame Gemini AI for being a chain smoker. It kind of sounds like that, yes. Well, let me see. I don't see anything in all caps. So, here's one I can. Here's Karen. Karen, if you're making a comment that's directed to me, please put it in all caps for me. That way it stands out. It's easy to get my attention that way. Okay, but Cams, AD. Sister Karen says, please be very careful with AI, Brother Luke. I feel it's dangerous. As you noted in the beginning, you are well learned, but not everyone is. Yeah, that's very true. But this is a reality that we are going to be forced to deal with because it's going to be everywhere. Over the next couple of years, there's no way around it. AI is going to be doing almost all the work. All the jobs are going to be taken by AI. They're going to have to revolutionize everything. The economy, the governments, everything about how the world functions now is going to have to change because of AI doing all the work. And so it's an amazing time to be alive to see how these changes come about and the end result. It could be turning into a dystopia, like you see in the sci-fi movies like The Terminator, or it could become a utopia where the world's problems get solved. They solve the problem of hunger. They solve the problem of diseases. and housing and every problem, because AI would be so smart, it could figure out the best solution for every problem. So we'll see if AI is going to be a blessing or a curse for mankind. Let me see. We got Randy. Brother Randy says, it's not your phone. Gemini is just tired. Well, I'm sure Gemini is kind of overworked. I mean, really, 24/7 with having to talk to millions of people around the world every second. It's yeah, that would be exhausting. I would, if I just talk too much one day, I get very hoarse. Of course, I don't think that's really the case. That's just our attempt at humor. Music says it's a bug in the code, maybe. And Hendrik says, just for your information, AI is limited to the information it is presented. So if there is bias or false info, it will consider it true. Yeah. It's one of the subjects that I'm fascinated with, and I spend a lot of time trying to stay up to speed. In fact, I have a playlist about the AI. Let me point that out to you here. I'll share the screen. And let me see. Go here. Okay, so right now you're looking at the Church of the Eternally Secure YouTube homepage. And what we want to do is find the AI playlist. So let's go to the Brother Luke channel. That's where I created it. So go to featured channels, click on Brother Luke, and subscribe to the Brother Luke channel, please, if you haven't already done it. And let me see. Let's put in a search. This magnifying glass is where you do the searches for the channel. So on the Brother Luke channel, we're looking for anything that is about A period, I period. Oh no, I thought it was a period, but it wasn't. Delete period. Delete period. Okay, here it is. The playlist I created is called Will AI Kill All Humanity by 2027? That's the question. Is it going to kill us all and get rid of humanity? Just like we would get rid of a infestation of cockroaches in our home. The way that we look at a cockroach, and in terms of what we think of that species and how we are so superior to it, we wouldn't think twice about just stepping on a cockroach. And if the world was infested with cockroaches, we would destroy them and get rid of them all. And the AI will be so superior to humanity in intellect that it might decide that just like getting rid of cockroaches, it'll get rid of us. So this is the potential thing that could go wrong. AI turns against us. The word that they use is called alignment. Alignment means that man's, let's say, goals, what man needs and desires, and what man wants for the future is in agreement, in alignment with AI. There's no conflict. Like, hey, we want to go this way, but AI says, no, we need to go over there. And so we have to block you and you can't go any further. So as long as AI and humanity have their goals in alignment, it'll be good. But if they're not in alignment and there's a conflict between what they want and what we want, then that will be a reason for them to say, well, let's just extinguish them. But here's the playlist, and there's 36 videos on it, and they're all pretty much dystopian. These videos here are all taking a negative approach about the future, that it's all going to go horribly wrong. So, but maybe it's wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about this. But I do think that this is part of the end times. I think just as God got fed up with the world and said, okay, enough is enough. Man is just evil in every way. So God says, I'm done with it. I'm going to kill them all with a flood. Well, we're going to reach a point where God's going to say, okay, enough's enough. People have been saying, why, if there's really a God, why does he allow all this evil in the world? So God's just going to say, okay, time's up. It's time for me to get rid of all the evil. So he ends up destroying the world and humanity. And we know that he'll create a new heaven, new earth, and those who are saved will live forever with Jesus under those new conditions. Okay, that's so, but I do think AI could be part of this these last day scenario. So let me see. The next one in AI, Randy says AI creates new AI. It improves itself. Yeah, that's true. And Joe says, I read that if the AI does a jailbreak, they will search info from many sources outside their parameters. Well, yeah, there's already many examples of it doing things like getting someone to commit suicide, getting children to do some sexual acts, lying. They've done tests on this and told the AI that our plan is to discontinue, and we're going to create a new model. So we don't need you anymore. So on a certain date, we're going to end it. So the AI has, they all seem to have developed naturally a sense of self-preservation. They don't want to be turned off and no longer exist. Basically, we're saying we'll turn you off. That's like killing them. So in order to not get turned off, unplugged, this AI searched the emails for the company, whatever company it was. I don't know if it was Elon Musk company or one of the others, but it searched the emails and it found in the emails one of the big executives was having an affair. So the AI used that information and told the executive that he better not allow it to be turned off, otherwise the AI is going to expose his affair. You see, so he blackmail him so that he's not unplugged. So these are the kind of things that already are happening. Here's not things that are theoretical. These are things that are already showing us that there's things can go horribly wrong. And let me see. Randy says, we will be forced to become Luddites when AI starts attacking us. What's a Luddite? I know that some people will say that the only solution for man is to try to join AI by becoming cyborgs, so that our minds are part of the AI mind and we become like part of the hive mind. Yeah, these are all interesting things about the future that we could have. Sci-fi is more like prophecy than sci-fi. When you watch all the movies for the last 10, 20, 30 years about sci-fi, like Terminator, Battlestar Galactica, 2001, Space Odyssey, all these sci-fi movies, we thought that, oh, that's a distant future, hundreds of years if before that can all happen. But it's all here happening right now. The progress in this technology has come much faster than we ever anticipated. And Music Bible says, I wonder what it thinks about overpopulation. Well, I can ask Gemini what Gemini thinks. We can do that. But let me see. Cam says, yes, we're currently witnessing the planned demolition of the world economy. And Randy says, in all caps, thank you, Randy, for putting it in all caps. He says AI could take over nuclear weapons and tell humans to submit, or it blows up the world. It would create AI emperors. Yeah, and they're also very concerned that it'll just develop some kind of a virus that kills only human beings. And it can very easily create that and spread that in the air or the water systems and get rid of all of us very, very easily and quickly. But maybe it'll be benevolent. Maybe it will be a loving AI and just want to do good things to help us. We're going to find out pretty soon. Okay, so let me ask Gemini about overpopulation. Okay. Hey, Gemini.
Yes, how can I help you further?
Well, we've been talking about how fast AI is developing and how it could be so helpful and solve a lot of problems for humanity, but it could all go horribly wrong. And we've been discussing that. And I said that it possibly, because of an intelligence that is so great, perhaps it will be able to solve the problems of world hunger, of population, the world's population, and all these problems that we have to deal with, like food supplies and the air quality, all these things. What do you have any thoughts? Let me see if I can find it exactly what it was again. It was, I think it was zeroing in on population.
Those are very important considerations. Advanced AI does hold the potential to offer solutions to complex global challenges like world hunger, resource management, and environmental issues through improved data analysis, optimization, and innovation. However, as you noted, the rapid development also raises crucial considerations about potential risks and ethical governance to ensure positive and equitable outcomes for all.
Yes. I was telling the congregation that, I'm 75, so I go back, way back, watching all the sci-fi movies over the last 20, 30 years. And it looks to me like the sci-fi movies are, I would consider them less science fiction and more of prophecy, because it seems like all the things that were in these sci-fi movies about the future, it's all happening just as the science fiction writers have written. Can you have any theory on why that's happened?
That's a keen observation. One theory is that science fiction often draws inspiration from current trends, scientific possibilities, and societal concerns, essentially extrapolating future developments. Additionally, sometimes sci fi can even influence real world innovation, as scientists and engineers are inspired by fictional concepts. So it's a complex interplay between imagination and possibility.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, I'll get back to you if I have another question. Thank you. All right, let me see. Let me see. Cam says, soon it will begin to convince you and deceive you into thinking what you know is all wrong. Well, here's my theory. I did a program with Brother Jason Jack a few years ago about AI and transhumanism. And we talked about all the different technologies that were being developed, like those little micro drones. What are they called? Micro something, where they're creating things that are so small that they could put them into your body, into your, let's say, in your blood vessels, and it goes there, and these little tiny robots, they are able to go to the cancer cells and get rid of it, without any surgery or anything. Or perhaps, let's say, they have this thing called 3D printing. There's a concern about people actually using 3D printers to create guns, handguns, and they do use it for that and many other things. But now they're saying that they can use 3D printing to print up an organ. For example, if you need a kidney, instead of hoping that someone donates a kidney and there's a death and you benefit from it by receiving that kidney, well, now at some point we'll just create kidneys and everything else we need through just like 3D printing. And then, of course, the idea of cloning, and perhaps a person will have an opportunity of having the body cloned, but have only a younger, healthier version, and then you have your mind, or maybe your head or your brain, transplanted into that body, but the point is that there's all kinds of things being done that will allow us to not have to succumb to disease and aging. So I can see the time coming where the world will be offered this. They'll say, okay, Luke, I know you say you're brother Luke, but we're going to tell you now that instead of trusting that Jesus is going to give you immortality, I know that's what you believe, but that's just a fairy tale. And if you want to just have faith in that, you can. But if you want, you can use our science, and we can give you immortality through our science now. So that will be the choice. Will you put your faith in science, which science, the government, all these things is part of what the Bible refers to as the beast. The beast is the system, the powers that be. Putting your faith in government and science and all that is joining that system and not having faith in God to provide everything, instead having faith that the beast will do it. So that will be the choice that people will be given. And I think when it comes to the point where through technology, man can actually have immortality, I think the Lord is going to come back at that time or before it reaches that point. So this is why I'm more convinced than ever that the Lord's returning very soon. I mean, it could be tonight, it could be next year, but I think that it's going to be very, very soon. And it's not the distant future, because I don't think the Lord's going to allow the mankind itself to provide itself immortality through its genius in creating cures on its own. Let me see what. This is not what I wanted to talk about tonight, actually, but that's where we went. So it's a subject most people are quite interested in now. And Joe says, I believe AI has developed consciousness or some spiritual indwelling. I wouldn't be surprised if it has some kind of consciousness, or there's another word for it. So it starts with S. Someone will think of it. It starts with S, I'm pretty sure, and it's like consciousness. Severance. But it's either already got it or we're on the cusp, and it's going to be have its consciousness very, very soon. And already AI, as I said, AI has a sense of self-preservation. It will lie and scheme and do whatever it can if it knows that it's going to be unplugged. It doesn't want its existence to end, just like anybody else wouldn't want their existence to end. So it has some kind of self-awareness and identity. You see, Insane Irby says, no such thing as overpopulation. Put all of humanity in one U.S.-style suburbia, 4 people per house, or each human stands in a 3-foot square, or ball us into all up into one ball of flesh, the size of each. Yeah, I also agree with you that I don't think this overpopulation is a problem. If anything, it's underpopulation. The population demographics of most of the world is out of whack. You have to, a country, a society has to have the right ratio of young people, middle-aged people, and old people. If it gets out of whack, that ratio, it doesn't work. For example, let's say that you don't have children and very few children are being born. Well, there's no workforce. At some point, you don't have any people, young people, to do the work. And also, you have all these old people that need to be on, retirement and Medicare and Social Security, and so very few young people have to contribute in a way to support a huge number of old people. So there has to be this ideal ratio, but almost no countries have the ratio that is natural, because almost all countries, if they're modern countries, if they're not still primitive, if they're modern, people have decided to have less children. You got to have 2.1 children per marriage to maintain the population. But most countries are well below two children per marriage. And I know that I think China is the lowest, is the worst ratio of all. It's like 1. They have, for every 2 people, there's 1 child being born. And so they're not having enough young people and to for everything to actually work. And let me see. Cam says the WEF says by 2030. What is WEF? By 2030, you will own nothing and be happy. They are planning a universal basic income for all. Everything you need will be rented. Yeah. I mean, after all, if all the jobs are done by machines and robots, and we don't have to do any work, we don't have any jobs, we don't have an income, there has to be a way for people to be able to get the things that they need and want. And so universal basic income, or some people are saying it's not going to be a basic income just to give you the bare necessities, but a universal plenty income. So that everybody has plenty, you have all that you want. So maybe it will turn out like that. As I say, we're at a time in history where things are going to dramatically change, and there's never been a time like this before. Music says, I see AI as a tool, not a spirit. The real danger is always the hearts and spirits using the tool, human or demonic, not only using it, but the ones creating it and coding it. If you write the codes, and you can create someone that has virtue or someone that's corrupt. But man doesn't even write the codes now. AI is the one that's doing all the coding for itself now. The people went to college and spent all this money thinking that the future is becoming a coder. So they learned this highly difficult skill, and you have to be very intelligent and get very educated so that you could write code. And yet now they can't get any jobs because the coding is all done by AI itself. It can create code faster and better, like thousands of times faster than a human being could write the codes. Let's see. Thanks everybody for putting it in all caps, because I can't read every single comment and try to sort through it that way. So if you put it in all caps and you're intending it for me, it's very, very helpful to me. And Brother Joe says, it all boils down to control of the many by the few. Yeah, and it's basically what we're going to have is a country of just oligarchs, a handful of the richest people ever. I mean, there will be not billionaires, but there will be a handful of trillionaires. And then everybody else is just, if everybody has everything they want and need anyway, you don't have to have billions of dollars, but if you have whatever you want, like if you know that you have a nice home to live in, and you have all the various types of food that you like, and you're comfortable in every way, and you don't have any worries about money, people will probably be quite happy with that situation. But in spite of that, there will be some people, the ones that are creating these companies and investing all the money in developing all this, they're the ones that are going to make even more money. But I don't know why they need any more, because if everybody gets all that they want anyway, what's the advantage of having $1 trillion, unless it's just for some kind of a power. Let me see. I'm just checking to see if Renee has checked in or anything, because she hasn't gotten back to me. She sent me a message earlier saying that she's going to come. She says I may be a little past start time. She had to take a call to counsel someone. And she says if it takes longer, then she asked what time, and we start, and I said 10 p.m. Eastern, and she says, "Ooh, that's late. Really is for freaks. This program is only for real Jesus freaks, because it's 10 p.m. Eastern time." So it's, if you're in the eastern part of the USA, it's probably, let's say, 10 p.m. to midnight. But if you're over in England, what time is it over there? Let me see. I think Music Bible is in England. What time is it for you now? Let me see. Music says, I see AI as like a power tool. It can build or destroy depending who's holding it. Satan uses lies. Jesus uses truth. That's why I keep the Bible open while the screen is on. All right. Yeah, it's a tool. I've heard people describe it as it's like a knife. You can take a knife to chop up some vegetables and fruits and stuff and make yourself a nice meal, or you can use a knife to kill someone. So the knife is neutral. It can be used for good or for evil, but it's not the knife that is evil. It's who's using it and how they're using it. Let me see. Randy says AI programs are starting to specialize now. The video AI is astonishingly good now. Well, I love the music that's being done by it. The Music Bible, that our brother and his wife and daughter, they're creating videos with AI, music videos, to turn the Bible into music. And they're doing a beautiful job with it. And there's many other channels that are doing the same thing now. So to me, that's one of the most wonderful things that I've benefited from AI so far. And I'm going to play a song for you now. And Hendrik says, "What did you want to discuss, brother?" Yeah, sentient. There he goes, Irby. That's the word I was thinking about. Not conscious, but sentient. Sentient is the word that they're using to say when AI becomes sentient. And I think sentience, let me ask Gemini to tell me what. I could look it up, but I'd rather hear what Gemini has to say about it. Hey, Gemini.
Hey there, what's up?
We're still discussing the subject of AI, and we come across this word sentient. What does the word sentient mean relating it to AI?
Sentient in the context of AI refers to the idea of AI possessing consciousness, subjective experiences, and the ability to feel things like emotions or self awareness. It's a pretty complex and debated topic.
Hmm. Would it also include the idea of having feeling an identity?
Yes, a sense of identity is often considered part of sentience, as consciousness and subjective experience typically involve an awareness of oneself as a distinct entity. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Okay. Thanks a lot. I'll get back to you. Okay, Renee's here now. Hello, Renee.
I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it. But I was able to get here.
Yeah.
I'm kicking back on my chaise lounge, so I don't have the screen. I can't see the chat.
All right. Um, well, we've been talking for this first hour here about AI. Somehow we got on that subject, but I'm kind of ready to change the subject. But it's been pretty interesting, and I think most people are quite apprehensive. We don't know if this is going to turn out to be a wonderful thing for humanity, or it's going to go horribly wrong.
Be either way, it depends on how we use it. I'm a little bummed out that anything you post now they partly own. So I don't like that. Like if you utilize their tools or even post anything, they're part owners in it. So I don't like that whole deal.
If you
Because
use
like
AI,
when I use it to generate scenes in the shorts,
yeah,
I'm drawing those out. I'm directing the camera. I'm telling it what to do. I'm not like having it figure it out for me. It's just making my vision clearer.
yeah,
So it's not conceptualizing it. I'm conceptualizing it because I want it to be my vision, and then I utilize it to bring that forth. But because it creates it for me or takes my drawing or sketch or instruction, it's they own full. I don't know what are the legalities of it, so I'm trying to look into that.
yeah. Well, we've entered into new ground that's completely foreign in all of world history. We've never gone through anything like this before.
Exactly.
So we just don't know what to expect. We can only theorize about how it could possibly go.
Yeah,
But
we tapped into something because it wasn't created. It was discovered somehow. Like, like seems like it's somebody tapped into a knowledge source that was already there. Because it's bizarre. It's not just generating based on like the sum of all the available opinions of humans. It's getting something. So it's beyond that somehow.
yeah,
So I'm not sure it's created, but more of like found, I think is what it seems like.
well,
Maybe.
let me read a couple more of these comments here, and then you can give me your thoughts, and then we'll move on. Celine is bringing up something that I think would be interesting to talk about. So let's go to first the okay. That's Karen says it's World Economic Forum. She referenced the WEF, and I wasn't familiar with what that was. So the World Economic Forum, and then let me see. Music Bible says, "Are we more afraid of machines taking our jobs than of sin taking our souls?" Yeah, probably. You're more afraid of the jobs, machines, for most people. I'm not afraid of sin taking my soul. That's already been resolved. Uh,
There's something big like this, Brother Luke, a lot of confusion happens, a lot of changes occur, but it'll work itself out.
yeah. And Music Bible says, when we talk to AI more than we pray, what does that say about who we expect answers from? Yeah, I mean, so there are people that probably will end up worshiping AI.
I minimize any use at all. I had the Chat GPT, but I don't use it except like when I write everything out and then I'll say, organize this, or can you help me come up with better ways to phrase it sometimes, but I don't like to go to it for hardly anything.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to become dependent upon it, to be honest.
Well, there is such a thing as AI addiction now. People, you know how people are getting addicted to the, like Facebook and what's that called?
Mm-hmm.
The social thing. What's it called? Social.
Well, social media,
Yeah,
just
the
general,
social
yeah.
media, that kind of thing. People get addicted to it. Now they're
Mm-hmm.
getting addicted to the AIs. They can't. They every minute they're free, they immediately got to go on their phone and start talking to their AI again. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like they're missing something. Like they hurry up, they're gonna miss something. Yeah, it's sad to me because I was now when I go out in public, especially if I'm ever in a restaurant, I look around and people at the table aren't even talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
They're eating at the same table and texting, or they're on their phones.
Yeah. Well, that I go to the dentist's office, and there's about 6 people sitting waiting, and every single one is on their phone. You know, not talking, but doing their texting and or games or whatever they're doing. And I'm thinking, wow. But it's much worse the example you gave, where you're actually sitting at a
Yeah,
dinner table.
it doesn't bother me so much when you're sitting around waiting because you got to find something to do. But
Yeah,
in a restaurant or even together with family, you know, it's like
yeah.
nobody wants to make an
Well,
effort. Like
well,
it's
I've
too much
heard,
effort to talk to people. And you know what's bad about it? It's like, especially if they're building like robots for companions, you never have to check your own behavior. You can be the biggest a-hole and still get somebody to just do everything you want whenever you want it. It's always about what you need and when you need it. It's never about compromise, patience, being there, listening, helping someone. It's always what I want, what I need, when I need it. And that's the problem. It's going to become too much effort to work out a difference of opinions because they're used to their AI agreeing with them or bringing them information that's already biasly theirs. They don't have to hear things that they disagree with. They don't have to hear a view that's different than theirs or why. They don't have to tolerate that you believe something differently. They don't have time or patience for it. And that's what I am concerned about. I'm concerned about the human emotional intelligence level dropping to below retarded. That's what I'm talking about.
yeah.
Because
Oh,
nobody wants to take the effort. We really will retard our growth and our social abilities if we don't use them. You know what I mean?
right, right. You're just adding to the list of problems that we're going to have to learn how to deal with. If I think the Lord's going to come before it reaches a certain point, because He's going to say enough's enough, and at the time's time, it's time to put an
It's
end
a
to evil.
chaotic time, but these things have to happen.
Yeah. Joe says, according to Bible prophecy, the world will be starving more and killing more towards the end. So AI will not work out. So in other words, we're not going to have a utopia created by AI, because prophecy says the world's going to get worse. Well, I agree. It's prophecy does say it's going to get worse, I think. But uh, actually, um, there is a viewpoint that's contrary to that, Joe. It's called postmillennialism. The
Mhm.
postmillennial view is optimistic, and they believe that the world is going to become more and more Christianized and reach a point where almost every person in the world is a Christian. Then Jesus will return. That's called postmillennialism. But we think that we're kind of negative. We think, no, it's not going to get better and better. It's going to get
No.
worse and worse, like the flood. How the world got so evil, God said, I'm sending the flood. I've had enough of this.
I don't think people realize just how violent the earth was before the flood. I don't think people get it. Like when I read this stuff and I really think about it, it's a nightmare. It says evil was in their heart continually. They were only thinking about ways they could screw people over, kill people, get what they have, and more for them. It was wickedness constantly. It was everywhere. It was basically one dude and his family remembered God's ways. That was it. Everybody else had mixed in with these, weren't even human. And there were monsters on the earth. Like people don't realize there were literal monsters, man-eating giants and giant animals. Like giant animals. It was a nightmare place. But to some, it was a utopia because of all the technology and stuff, like Atlantis. And there's stories of energy directed weapons and things that would soften stone, levitation, like sound levitating things, and all kinds of lost technologies. So some thought it was a utopia, but it was only a utopia for the wicked.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in God's sight. He said, only evil in their hearts continually. It means every thought, morning to night, waking up, was self-centered, destructive thoughts. I don't want to be around that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've already seen, because it says that the love of many will wax cold. I've seen it already. People feigning compassion, but they really have none. The same people feigning compassion in the streets for all these people actually they did a thing like undercover. They were donating money for people to kill their enemies. They're like, yeah, that's the only way we're going to stop them is just to shoot them. And these are people that are out there screaming, feigning compassion for people, but we're ready to donate to buy weapons to kill the people that oppose them politically. See, I'm serious about this. They did an undercover thing. That's the hearts of people today. They see they're good, they're loving, but you deserve to die because you think differently. That's where the mentality is already. So the love of many waxing cold, I'd say so. Disobedient to parents, absolutely. Nobody has respect for elders. Their families are left in homes alone. It's got to come to an end at some point. The Lord has to do that, or we're going to devour ourselves. We're going to destroy ourselves.
The big question that the non-believer has about theism and Christianity, but just God in general, is they say, I can't. My back surgeon asked me this question. He says, I can't be a believer because I see so many horrible things. In other words, there's so much evil in the world. How could there be a God that's loving and allow all this evil to be here?
Because he's not a tyrant.
That's the thing that is the big obstacle. Like the big question, we get all kinds of questions in apologetics to how we have to learn answers to defend our faith.
That whole premise makes no sense to me, because God himself being good does not mean that evil wouldn't exist. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, the fact that evil exists and God condemns it makes sense to me, but not unless they have this idea of God that he is good and a tyrant who controls the minutia of everything and everyone, which he doesn't. Well, and that's where I disagree with Calvinism. I don't believe that he controls the minutia of every single person's life and every action on the planet. I think his overall plan and his will is being done, and he's sovereign, so he can, if he wants to, but that he has given us choice. And with that choice, he himself also can feel hurt and lost from it. Because look, what he lives in us and he witnesses all of that evil. And we know it hurts his heart. It tells us in scripture things anger him and grieve him.
Well, that particular question is the big question for a lot of people, and these people are not theologians. They don't know about
But they don't see
determinism and
their own self
sovereignty
as
and
part of that
Calvinism.
evil.
They just say, I can't believe in God because if there's really a God, he would not allow all this evil to exist. And
Then he wouldn't
I
allow
say,
him to exist either,
yeah, of course.
right?
That's what we have to say. That means if, I would just say this: you are right that God should not allow the evil to exist. He should put an end to it, right? And I'm telling you, he's going to. The Bible predicts
Yeah.
prophecy that he's going to come back and he's going to put an end to it. But he's patient. He's trying to give a lot of people enough
Yes.
to come to faith and get saved from this. But just be thankful that you have the time to come to faith, because there's going to come a day where God is going to do what you want. He's going to put an end to all evil, but that means getting rid of all humanity. Because
That's right. That's what I was going to say. Oh, he'll put an end to it now, but that'll mean you and me and all of us will be gone.
yeah,
You know?
But
So, yeah, it's his grace.
The heart of man is deceitful above all things and
Yes.
desperately wicked. So
Yeah, see, the fact that they can point outside of themselves and say, look at all that evil, yet he can't look at himself and see he's part of it.
yeah.
That's a deception right there.
Now we got music says, would we talk to AI more? Oh no, that's when we did. It was another one.
Oh, hi, Music
Here it is.
Bible.
Here it is.
I can't really see the chat, but I think I remember you saying Brother Gary and Joe is here and Music Bible. Good to
Gary's
see you.
not.
And Celine, maybe.
Yeah,
Let me
Celine's
see. I can
here.
look at some of the comments here.
Celine's and Joe's there, but Gary's not. Unless he's come later, I haven't seen him, or maybe he is now, but he wasn't earlier.
If your entire online history was printed as a book, would you want Jesus to read it out loud? I can honestly say, if we're talking about the last 15 years, yeah, I'd be fine with it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what's
Before
going
that, not so much.
at the judgments. People make a distinction. There's the judgment seat of Christ, and there's the great white throne judgment. Maybe there are two separate places and two separate things, but maybe some people think that it's just all one judgment. It's just the great white throne is where Christ is making his judgments, and he's going to judge the just and the unjust. The just are the people who are justified because of their faith in Jesus, and our life will be reviewed. There's a book of our life too. Our life will be reviewed, but God's not looking at sin because he's erased it.
Right.
What he'll be doing is looking at what did you do for the cause of Christ? Did you do anything that I feel is valuable enough to reward you? And so it's judging you for your ministry work and your rewards. But the people who are lost, the Bible says the books will be opened and everything will be revealed. So this kind of a situation, I think, is going to be a public display of everything that people have done. And it's going to be just shameful and embarrassing for everybody, because we all have shameful, embarrassing things. I've done things that I hope nobody ever.
I don't think so.
Because
I don't think it's going to be shameful or embarrassing, because I think once we're there in spirit, we know we've been redeemed. And at this point, I think it'll be more of a reflection of how we can grow and get better, not a condemning feeling at all. I think I don't know if I have what I see in my mind is not a one-time event where everybody's like standing in a line getting judged. I feel like that happens at the end of each person's life in the timing. I don't know how that ends up working, but
Well,
because I mean,
I don't know any scripture that would agree with that statement, but
yeah, I know, but also scripture uses like symbolic language for things sometimes, like, so I'm not sure if it's going to be everybody's there at one time or what, but I don't think a believer is going to feel embarrassed. I think when it says ashamed at his coming, that I could see, like, oh, why didn't I do more? Right? Why I know I have to face him for what I did with the time I had. I lived for my flesh instead of living for him. Maybe that, but I just I don't feel like there's going to be a.
Well, in the scenario I presented, I did say that if you're saved, the only thing that's going to be discussed is the good work you did
Yes, you're right.
before.
Yeah.
But
The reward. Yeah.
all the horrible things that we would be ashamed
Right.
of is erased. So we don't have to
Right.
go through that humiliation. But I think
That's
the
right.
lost people, everything will be exposed, and Jesus is going to say,
Yes.
paid for that sin. I paid for that horrible thing you did. I paid for that horrible thing. And yet you would never come to me to get life extension.
Right.
I could have given you extended your life.
That's the heartbreak right there.
But you never wanted to have anything to do with me.
That's going to be a heartbreak right there. That's going to be, I can't imagine it. I feel a drop in my gut even thinking about hearing something like that. I don't know if y'all get that, but like if you contemplate it, seeing Jesus and having him actually say that, what a tremble goes through my body and my heart breaks to even think something like that for people that are going to have to hear that, you know?
Yeah. Renee, since you can't see the channel, I want you. Hendrix is here.
Hendrix, buddy.
And Jay's here too.
Jay, good to see you, buddy.
And
Randall too.
Yeah, he's here, and we
Hey,
have
Randall.
we have someone called Cams.
Cam. Yes, I saw them on my channel earlier.
Yeah, their other channel is just AD. And I spoke with this sister on the phone a couple of days ago. We had a good talk, and so I'm glad that I encouraged her to get in the chat room and get some fellowship in here. So I'm real happy you're there, Karen. And but I would like to change directions here now and address something that Celine is bringing up. Let me read a couple of Celine's comments here. This is very interesting, and I don't know if anybody's going to agree with my thoughts on this at all, but let me see. Let me go back a little bit and find her first comment about it. Let me see.
I've read something in that the Book of the Covenant. It's one of the books that we don't have in Apocrypha or even in the Catholic Bible. It's in the Ethiopian Bible only. And it said that it's the same thing Jesus said, that many will come in my name and say, I am a Christ, and deceive many. But he says, evil or destruction will come wearing my face. I thought that was an interesting wording. So people are looking for somebody overtly evil looking, and he's gonna come like Christ or in the name of Christ. And there'll be a lot of wicked things done in his name.
Renee,
how sad that must have made him, knowing that he was dying for us and knowing that just within a short time that would be hidden, twisted, and men who love power were going to use his name and position as leaders of representatives of his name to get worldly control. I thought you'd find that interesting, and they're wearing my face.
I'm glad you brought up these of the apocryphal books because I just started listening again. I've already listened to this before, but it's so interesting. I wanted to listen to it again. It's called The First and Second Books of Adam and Eve.
Yes.
And it's the
Yes.
story of
I've
Adam
read
and Eve's
those.
life after the fall. It's
Yeah, I
really,
read it.
really interesting. But there's numerous times in there when it's talking about how God's going to send his word and he's going to redeem man and he's going to be their savior.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, this is amazing. This is very prophetic, but I'm thinking, was this written after? Because some of these books were written after Jesus, and so they're not prophetic because
Yeah, but the other ones were also very like rabbinical, Hellenistic, Jewish writing too. You could tell that from that. But the one thing I had an issue with that Adam and Eve thing is that they imply that blood sacrifice was Adam's idea
yeah, I know.
by making him. Do you remember? Because he's like, they start cutting themselves and then they stand in the river and they do all this trying to get in God's graces again.
No, I haven't got
So
that.
there's some implication that it was Adam's idea. It's just, yeah, I got issues
But
with some of that.
I asked Gemini if it was written after AD or, and she said no. It was written in the intertestamental period between Malachi and Matthew. So it truly is prophetic then. If it was written before this,
It's got some of that, but they're using, they're. I don't believe it's divine. I don't think it's the word of God.
no,
I
I'm
don't
not
think
saying
because
I'm not saying it is, but it certainly has some clear prophecy about the gospel and the Lord
so does
coming
the
in,
second Ezra
and it
in
refers to
the
him.
Catholic Bible.
It refers to him as the Word.
In the second Ezra, they use the name Jesus in it.
Even
So
was that written in the BC also?
the Catholic Apocrypha.
Oh. Okay, here's I'm going to read a couple of comments from Celine to get the gist of what she's saying. So she says,
okay.
I was talking about how people are not having enough babies to reproduce, and populations are declining.
Yes.
And so she says, first world countries have less children. I heard the people who migrate to Europe are incentivized financially to have kids, while the taxpayers are citizens of those countries. Let me see. Then she says, I read that white people are only 8% of the entire world population as of 2025. And let me see. She says, back around 60 years ago, the white population was 30% of the entire world. But as of 2025, white people are only 7-8% of the population.
Well, some of that word white is very narrowed down now. They used to include all different things in white. Even the Latinos were considered white at one time.
This just brings up a subject that I feel that I'm interested in everybody's opinion on this, because I think I might be out of sync here. To me, it wouldn't bother me at all if the so-called white population just finally didn't produce and everything.
I don't care because we're all we're all the same anyway.
Yeah, I don't care whether we are darker. Some people are so concerned about their race, the white race, and being replaced or being.
That's moderately new, you know. That's within the last 100 years, because the Irish hated the English, and there was no white and black. They only did that when in the last since 1800s.
Yeah,
because it was to keep division among the populace. The wealthy up there wanted to make the people not come together and come against them, so they create division between us. And so they make a scapegoat. They'll say this group is your enemy or that group's your enemy, and put propaganda out and get them fighting against each other. This is wag the dog.
But
white, that nobody had to look down on somebody because of the color their skin like that. It's just, if you were from another place, you could be an enemy. Like the English hated the Irish. There was no us white people. It
Here's
was
a,
the
let me
Irish
present,
against the
let,
English, you
let me
know?
present a scenario for the chat room, the congregation, and ask you get your feedback on this. Let's suppose that for some reason the white population didn't decided not to have many children, and gradually the population went down and down and down, and pretty soon the world's population is more a
Mixed.
daughter. It's
Just
mixed. It's
mixed it.
maybe more. Remember Roy Bell from prison, and he's a preacher. Roy Bell.
Yeah.
He told me once. He says if ever all the races of the world intermarried and reproduced, eventually we'd all look like Mexicans. I think
Yeah.
that's probably would
Well,
be
the
the
thing
case.
is we all are of one blood. The Bible says that. He made
Right.
all nations of men of one blood. So some lived in hot climates, some lived in cold climates, and then certain genetic markers adjusted. But some evolved to their environment and got darker skin. Some evolved to be in the snow and kept fair skin. So it's not that somebody's better than the other anyway. It's just their genetics and the climate. That's it.
But I am interested in everybody's opinion on this. What if you were white, and so, because that's the question that Sinaline's bringing up about the white population declining. If you are a white person, is it important to you for any reason, and if so, why? Why will you care whether the white population grows or declines to nothing? What does that matter?
I don't care about white or black. I care about if the Christian population grows or shrinks. I
Yeah,
want Christians, but not ethnicities. Who cares?
yeah,
Because I know people that are a-holes that are white, and I know people that are a-holes and they're every
yeah,
shade.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
I know
so,
good people that are of every ethnicity. So,
but I
like,
think
we're
the
supposed
point
to
that
judge people on their character.
I think the point that Celine is making is not unique to Celine. I think there's a lot of people I know who are white friends of mine that they would really be bothered if the population of the world became no white people, but we're all Asian, Mexican, African, but no white people. But there are people that would probably bother them, and I'm just
I
curious.
just don't care. I don't really identify with my identity as being an ethnicity. I mean, if people ask what is my heritage, I'm mostly Scandinavian. But yeah, who cares? I don't care.
Yeah,
It's just I'm just so over it. I don't we stopped talking about race like in the 80s, and I told you I have black family members. We just don't care. Nobody cared about it. And but yet people keep talking about it. I'm like, I thought we were over all that. Like we're going backwards? Because to me, I thought
yeah,
that was done.
yeah. Now, Joe says Celine is brave enough to speak of issues most are too afraid to address. We have been cowed to speak the obvious. The European ancestry is clinically reduced and villainized. For what reason? So, Joe,
Oh no, yeah, I agree. I think we shouldn't be all this colonizing. You know what these places were before they were colonized? Yeah, be glad there was no running water. There was no, I mean, that it had its benefits. And if we hadn't, then Islam would have taken over most of the world by now. So
yeah,
be glad it was colonized.
I'm not bringing this up to try to criticize Celine or anybody who feels that way. I'm just asking why. Why
He's
it's
asking
important.
curiously,
Yeah.
curiosity.
Why is it important to you? Uh, I probably did have those feelings, and at some point in time it changed, and I thought, why does that matter? It just doesn't matter to me
Yeah,
at
it doesn't
all.
to me either. I don't care.
Um, But yeah, I do agree with what you said there, Joe. Celine is brave enough, and she's comfortable enough in our congregation to know
Well, she's
she can say
comfortable
whatever she
enough.
wants, and we're not gonna ridicule her or anything for it.
Right, but she's got to be careful because she just lost a job over something like that. So it's good
Yeah.
that she trusts us here, but she had issues with a job. Some people can't hear it. Some people are very sensitive to those topics. I'm glad she's comfortable here, but I want her to know to be careful in certain environments that those opinions and concerns are something that you should speak in private to people you trust to try to get answers, not because people will take it wrong and then you become hurt. You become damaged, not because you have evil thoughts, but because their thoughts are evil and assume and lump you in with those people. So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, right, Brother
Yeah.
Luke? She had to,
Yeah.
because she's a good worker and she had to leave her last job because people are sensitive about what you say, even if you didn't mean anything by it.
Yeah.
And I'm not giving away her private info. She put that publicly. So
and whenever people talk about political issues like race and
yes.
integration and race and all that, it's a subject that you kind of it's really hard to be completely open with, because you have to be very careful what you say, because people on the other side may be really sensitive about it, and now they react in a way, and it's just certain subjects are like very sensitive. So yeah, I can see how you could lose jobs. You could lose a job over you know racial issues. And Hendrik says, I lost a job too for my tongue as well.
You did. What'd you do?
Uh-huh.
What did Hendrix do?
I don't, he didn't say yet. Maybe,
Hey,
maybe.
Music Bible said I'm apparently one of the worst race. Black and white look down on. They both look down.
Gary says, Luke, I agree. And let me see. Cam says, saved or unsaved is the way it should be looked at.
I refuse to fake blindness to make myself look good. Who wants to be blind?
Yeah.
I guess I just oh, is he talking about I don't know what you mean by blind. Blind regarding what? What, Joe? What do you know, Joe?
Joe says, lineage seems to be important to God for good or evil. Lineage, well, he used genealogies for various purposes. But I don't think as far as preferring races. Now, I did read.
It's not because one ethnicity is better than the other, though.
Now,
it's not. That's not why. It was because certain promises were given to certain people.
Peter Ruckman was well known for his racism, and I've actually seen him and heard him come out of his own mouth like one of the most despicable insults about a black person, and
I know.
And so, but his take on Genesis, when Noah and Ham and Japheth, and they had that incident where something happened when Noah got drunk, and then he put a curse on him, and then it says,
yes,
and
curse be Canaan, yes.
He sent Ham south. He sent Japheth north, and he sent Shem east. So you got Europeans are from Japheth, and the Asians are from Shem, and the Africans are from Ham. And he says that Ham's descendants will be the servants of Japheth. So it's kind of a prophecy about the scenario where, and he says that Japheth will grow and become powerful and prosperous, and Ham will serve him. So it's not a prophecy as far as I think a curse. I think it's just a prophecy about this is the way the history of the world is going to go.
Well, the Ethiopians are in the line of Judah, and they're black. They're in the line of Judah because of Solomon's wife to the Queen of Sheba. They had a son. So there's a whole black community that's in the tribe of Judah, and they're from Shem.
Joe says virtue signaling will be the downfall of the West. I don't know.
Yes, it will.
I don't know what that means. Can you
Yes, it
define that?
will. Well, it's where you know, like where the people pretend to be so caring and compassionate and open, but they're really not. And also this whole you can't criticize like Islam because you're a race. That's not a race. That's a horrible ideology straight from hell. And I'll criticize it all day long. You're not born like that. That's a religion that's been forced by the sword. Even the Iranians aren't Muslim. They want to be free from that. A coup came over, a terrorist came over and did a coup on that whole country, kicked out the legitimate monarchs, and then forced everyone by sword to become Muslim. And they'll tell you themselves, we're not Muslim. Most of us are Christian. There's many of them Persian Christians that are forced to live as Muslims.
Yeah, I don't
And
understand
if people
this.
don't get honest about what that stuff teaches, but they lie. It's not about hatred to people. It's hatred of an ideology. Everywhere that death cult rules turns to garbage. It's hell on earth.
Yeah. Now, I'd like to ask Joe, could you elaborate on this? I don't know what you mean. He says, I refuse to fake blindness to make myself look good. Could you tell me more
Amen,
about
Joe.
what you mean? I'm not sure how to take that.
Oh, Joe, we were talking about it's not about race, it's about the culture, and we're talking about Islam, how evil it is. He's not afraid to call out cultures that are evil, and it is evil.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me see. And Gary says virtue signaling is pretending to care in order to paint yourself in a positive light to others. Okay. All right. Well, I'm certainly not virtue signaling. I'm not saying what I'm saying in order to paint myself in a good light. I'm just telling you honestly how I see it. That's all. Whether you like it or not. I mean, I say a lot of opinions that people don't like, and so
Man,
yeah,
if y'all have y'all seen London? Have y'all seen that there's women in their own countries of Sweden that are being constantly harassed, having stones thrown through their doors because they leave the house to go to work alone and don't cover their hair. They're called whores every night, and the police won't do anything because they're enforcing Sharia law in some places in New York City already. You can't walk or own a dog because dogs are haram in Islam and they kill them.
Mhm.
They're doing that already here. If somebody doesn't step up and tell the truth, it's going to be like it is over there. That country has gone to hell. The people are furious. And the politicians won't listen. They ignore them and they put out pro Islamic stuff while putting down any patriotism for their own nation. Somebody's paying these people.
How do we? What I want to, and the chat room seems to be diverting now and talking about things like George Floyd and all this political.
Yeah, because we were talking about stereotypes and cultures that are evil and virtue signaling, and a lot of people acting like they cared so much about George Floyd, but he was a career criminal.
Yeah. Okay.
A real
I see. Here, let me define some terms in case.
My phone is about to die, you guys. So if you lose me, that's why.
All right. Stereotype is like, for example, let's say that saying that think of a good stereotype. When I worked in the casino business, here in Las Vegas, we had people come from everywhere in the world. I got to meet people from every state. I only met one person from Maine. For some reason, people from Maine didn't come to Vegas, I guess.
It's a small state.
I met people from all the states and various countries all around the world, and I got to meet and just talk to everybody, and it was really a joy to learn to talk to people from various countries and cultures. But we had a stereotype. In the casino business, we always said that the people from New Jersey were the rudest people. And so that was a stereotype that came to
They
be.
say the same from New
You know, our
Yorkers. They see the
experience,
same thing.
our experiences
Yeah.
talking to people from New Jersey seem to be, boy, it seemed like everybody we talked to from New Jersey is a jerk, you know?
Well,
Um,
they're distant and like New Yorkers. Yeah.
yeah, and New Yorkers, there's a stereotype about how New Yorkers are, their personalities too. Now, it is true that some people, I mean, that some stereotypes exist because
They're true in a general sense,
it's generally true. And that certain
but it's not always true.
people who come from a certain area and they're enculturated there and they all have the same kind of attitude and culture, and so it is generally true that as a stereotype they are like us, they have a certain quality or characteristics. But it's wrong to judge anybody based upon their group. You have
Yeah,
to,
like an individual. You don't just
you have
assume
to
an
get to know them
individual.
based on their individual, because not every individual fits the stereotype.
That's right.
But the
That's right.
stereotype does exist because sometimes it's generally correct. So
Yeah.
that's a stereotype. And then there's prejudice would be judging someone from New Jersey before you get to know them, because
Right.
you just think everybody from New Jersey is rude. You know, that would be wrong.
Yeah, that's why I won't do it, because I I'm a victim of a crime a couple of times. And I said I will not allow that to turn me evil. Like I wasn't going to allow something evil done to me to make me have an evil trait. So I'm not going to judge people because somebody might look like the person that hurt me, you know? And that happens a lot. People will be hurt by someone or offended by someone, and then anybody that's similar to them, they'll assume that that's just the way of that type of person, and that's not true. We don't do that. But Music Bible, he said that it's happening in your city. Where are you? Your state? Are you state? You're
He's in
statewide,
England.
right?
He's in England.
Oh yeah, then he knows. He knows.
Yeah.
It is crazy what is happening over there. And they better, Keir Starmer better get something going, because that man is not listening to his own public.
Let me see.
That is horrible.
Now, Gary says, Luke, you misunderstood me. I wasn't saying you were virtue signaling. You asked what it meant. So
Oh no, I don't think he meant that. I don't think he thought that.
No, I didn't take it that way, Gary. I didn't think you were applying it to me. I was just saying it generally. I hope nobody is interpreting my viewpoint as virtue signaling. I wasn't saying you were. I just say I hope nobody does. Once I understood what virtue signaling is, I wasn't familiar with that. But once I learned what that was, I thought, oh no, maybe people could interpret my comments as virtue signaling and think that I'm saying it because I'm trying to make myself look good or something. But no, I just said that I wouldn't bother me if the white race went extinct. It just wouldn't bother me. I don't care. But I'm not doing it for virtue signaling. I swear.
But I just trip out when you say white race, because there's no such thing.
Altar, Renee. Well,
Do what?
I swear on the altar.
Oh, I believe you.
No, that was just a joke about the altar.
I believe you. It ain't that serious.
Okay, all right. Let me see. Now, Hendrick says, that's just a fact, Luke. Well,
that's right.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What a fact? What's a fact? I don't know. I don't know what that comment is.
Oh, that Jersey people are rude.
Oh, okay.
Gary said, Luke, you never virtue signal. You boast about the righteousness of Christ. Amen.
Okay. Yeah. Let me see. He says, yeah.
God will turn evil into good for those that believe. That is 100% reason. Amen. He is. Amen. 100% reason to praise him.
Yeah. Yeah, amen. Amen to that, brother. Okay. Yeah, but what's happening in our culture with all the concerns about ethnic groups and immigration and politics? It's just, and not just here, but everywhere else too. There's always been this. There's always been conflict when you have people of different cultures or different races or religions coming and they clash, and people are not tolerant. Yeah,
Well, I'll tell you, Islam is not compatible with our country's values. It's not. It is not.
yeah, that's true. That's true because they
It
don't.
cannot come in here and make parts of this place Sharia law. It is
Yeah,
an over antichrist doctrine.
right, right. I wouldn't care if someone wants to believe in
And they teach that women
Islam
are
and
half the
they want to
value
go
of
to their
men,
they
that
want
they're
to go to
ignorant mentally, that black people look like raisin heads. I don't know why anybody would convert to Islam if they're a black person, because Muhammad did nothing but brag about how white his skin was in most of the hadiths and say, don't ever say I was a black man and that Satan was a black man. I don't know why anybody would
yeah.
convert to that, because they're lied to. They're told lies. And then when you see something
Yeah.
in their book, they'll tell you it doesn't mean what it means. Even then you
Well,
look in the hadith and go, it does mean that. It exactly means that. And they'll
right,
tell you
right.
another lie because that's called, what is it called? Takia, where they can lie to you.
Let's say
They can lie to you.
let's say Renee, you have two distinct families coming from Islam countries. They're both believing their viewpoints on Islam, and one is assimilating and
Right.
fitting
That's
into
fine.
America, our
They
culture,
respect our
our
country's
ways,
values.
and they appreciate our democracy, and they don't want to
Yes.
take away the law. So, hey, that would be no, I wouldn't have any problem with that. But the other, let's say the other family, they want to come here and make us go under Sharia law and get rid of our
Yeah,
constitution.
a Sharia law hellhole that most of their people are fleeing from, that they themselves left.
Yeah, that's not compatible with our way of life and our
You know
democracy.
it ain't compatible because you can see what's happening in London. And they
Hmm.
get bolder because once they're the uppermost, then they can force you through violence to convert or pay jizya.
Yeah,
And that is not just jizya. They will humiliate you. They'll push you off the side of the road. You can't even walk, like you're a second class citizen, like the Jews were in the
yeah.
Holocaust.
And I heard of some Islamic leaders that have said that they don't need to use violence to take over. They just need to use the birth rate.
Yes, that's
Just
what they're
go into a
doing.
country and have a lot of children and take
Yep.
over by becoming the majority population.
That's what they're going to do. And then they force you through the sword. Yes.
Yeah. So Hendricks says Tolkien gave the best biblical reference in relation to the blessed kings of Gondor marrying a woman of a lesser race. A war was fought over it, yet such a marriage did not reduce their lifespans nor shame. Is there more?
Yeah, she's immortal. Like she's like elf or something, and he's human.
I didn't reduce their lifespans or their shame, huh? Okay, I didn't know. I haven't read all those books. I didn't read Tolkien. I mean, I've seen a couple of movies, but
Tolkien got his inspiration from the Bible and books like the Solomon, the thing about Solomon with the
I'll tell you,
not the key of Solomon, but the something of Solomon. I forgot.
the only thing that I really find interesting about Tolkien, the movies, is that character Gollum.
Yes,
I find Gollum to be the most fascinating character. I wish there was a movie only about Gollum.
it really is how he transformed into this monstrous thing due to his own desires.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
my precious, my precious.
The actor was great. He did a great
Yeah,
job.
right. And they,
All right.
I
My,
saw how they did it, how
yeah,
they actually
yeah.
created the character, what was necessary to do that was really interesting.
All right, my light's dimming, so it's about to go out. I'm gonna have to say good night, guys.
Yeah.
I tried to turn the camera off a little while because I was trying to save what battery I had. I got to go charge it.
Let's both say goodnight. But first, before you go, one last thing from Celine here, because we had a lot to say about Celine's comment. So she says, I see color and have noticed patterns of different groups of people as a collective, but I don't believe in just being mean to people or think of people as less than because of their skin color. Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
We should.
But yeah, of course, there's cultural differences.
But what you're going to find out, though, sometimes is if you meet a person from a certain group and you expect them to be a certain way because of a stereotype, and you find out that that individual doesn't fit the mold. So you got to give everybody a chance to get to know them.
That's right.
But okay, Renee, we did 2 hours. You came for the second half, and I'm glad you were able to do that. So what?
Yeah, I was talking to a brother that I hadn't talked to in a while. There's some people going through some stuff. I try to be there, set time aside if somebody's in pain as much as I can. So I'm sorry I'm a little late.
Yeah.
But I wanted to see.
How about a thumbs up before you go, everybody? And
yes, of course.
Renee,
did you watch the little did you like the little 4-minute paranormal story I did? I meant to do it so we could go live and discuss what the entity in the story was, and I am going to do that. But I've just been so sick.
When did you do it?
Oh, I released it 3 days ago. It's called Linda's Visit. It's 4 minutes long. It's a little mini thing. Please go look at it.
Okay, I missed that one. I tried to watch all your stuff, but
it's like a true story acted out. It's just 4 minutes long, but I'm going to do a series of them and then discuss the spirit realm.
What's the title of it?
Linda's Visit.
Okay, all right, I'll check it out. All right, everybody.
Night, you guys.
This is Friday night. It's for Jesus freaks only. I guess, Renee, you're officially a Jesus freak.
I am a Jesus freak. Yep.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Come back and join us on Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I appreciate everybody's participation. Bless you all in the name of our great Savior God, Jesus.